him for some political reason. But at the same time, we have this increasing public record evidence that when Trump was in charge, when he was president, when his appointees were running the Justice Department, they really did have a DOJ gone wild. They really did do everything they could to use federal prosecutors, to use federal law enforcement to help the president's friends and try to punish his enemies. And right, they're accusing everybody else of it now when it's not happening. But when they were in charge, they truly, actually, really did it. As a tactic, that's called projection, right? I know you are, but what am I? I'm rubber, you're glue, right? It's just as frustrating when it comes from, you know, 3 fighting 7-year-olds on a playground with their fingers jammed up each other's noses as it is when it comes from a political movement led by a 76-year-old man, right? Projection is very annoying. But if you can sort of get past the political impact and the argumentative tactic there, this is a really serious thing. As a rule of law question, on the basic question of whether we are a country governed by a constitution and the rule of law versus just force and power wielded by mean, vindictive men, you know, using the U.S. Justice Department the way that Trump did to go after your enemies and to reward your friends, using the Justice Department that way, that is really high up there on the list of bad things that can happen in the government. And what is now on the public record about what Trump did with the rule of law, with DOJ when he was president, it's worse than anything of the kind ever done by any other U.S. president, including Richard Nixon, and he was bad on this front. And we know a lot more new details of this now from Jeffrey Berman, from a lifelong Republican, Trump appointee, a man who had actually worked on the Trump campaign and the Trump transition. In 2017, he was named as the U.S. attorney in the nation's most prominent federal prosecutor's office. He was named as U.S. attorney for SDNY. And he's now telling what he knows and what he experienced. Here's more that we, the American people, now know, thanks to this new book from Jeffrey Berman. Quote, while Michael Cohen pled guilty, our office continued to pursue investigations related to other possible campaign finance violations. When Bill Barr took over as U.S. Attorney General in February 2019, 6 months after Cohen's guilty plea, he not only tried to kill the ongoing investigations we were engaged in, but incredibly, he suggested that Cohen's conviction on campaign finance charges should be reversed. Barr summoned my deputy, Rob Khuzami, who was overseeing the Cohen case, in late February to challenge the basis of Cohen's plea, as well as the reasoning behind pursuing similar campaign finance charges against other individuals. Khuzami was told to cease all investigative work on the campaign finance allegations until Maine justice determined there was a legal basis for the campaign finance charges to which Cohen pled guilty, and until Barr determined there was a sufficient federal interest in pursuing charges against others. The directive Bill Barr gave my deputy, Rob Khuzami, which was amplified that same day by a follow-up call from Edward O'Callaghan, that directive was explicit. Not a single investigative step could be taken. Not a single document in our possession could be reviewed. And if Maine justice decided in the end that there was no legal basis for the charges, well,